Samara has been at Reform UK's press conference where Nigel Farage, in quite a shrewd political mood, I must say, announced that Reform UK's one of their major policies will be to bring down the price of a pint. And my God, do we need that? As I said earlier, around here, where we work, around London, central London, £8.50, £9, absolutely common for a pint of beer. It's all around the country, £7.50, £6.50. It's pretty astronomically expensive. Explain, if you will, Samara, how Nigel Farage intends to bring down these prices.
Well, it was a very interesting speech by him and Lee Anderson where they said that they do want to save Britain's pubs. Now, I think what stuck out to me about Farage's speech particularly was about how he wants to make sure that energy bills are lower, because that's a main issue for pubs, and that's what's actually driving up the price of pints. So he more went into the whole, we're going to scrap net zero, we're going to basically reduce VAT to 10% for the hospitality sector. And he said that when they get in office, the price of a pint should go down by about £1. Now, they had all the paraphernalia. They had these little cards
but they didn't have any beer for you.
Yeah, they gave me this QR code on how to save the pints, but yeah, no alcohol.
Where's the beer? Where's the beer?
Yeah.
Now, you managed to get a question into Mr. Farage because at the weekend, Jeremy Clarkson, probably Britain's best-known pub owner, wrote quite a powerful piece, quite a powerful attack job on Reform UK, saying what a lot of people say, well, you know, you sound all right, but you got one policy, solving the migrant crisis, nothing else. You asked Mr. Farage about that, and here's what happened, folks.
Samara Gill from talkTV.
Jeremy Clarkson, a pub owner, he wrote a very scathing piece in The Sun this weekend saying that reform sounds great until you ask what they actually do beyond stopping the boats. He also said that voters don't know what they're signing up for. So can you name one policy on health, education or transport that would be measurably better after your first year in power, and tell us how voters would notice the difference?
Hello, Jeremy. Here we are. I'll put a copy in the post to you. I've not been to your pub yet. I trust I'm not banned, along with all the Labour MPs. There you are. There you are. And actually, what he's saying is wrong. Wrong. We've been unveiling new names, new faces. We've been unveiling policies for the last 6 or 8 months, actually in considerable quantity. So I can tell you, Jeremy, there's a constructive plan for pubs that also cuts the welfare bill. I'm sure he will approve thoroughly of that. And you can tell him we're working very, very hard on a proper agricultural policy as well. So I think perhaps he'd be reassured. Just spend less time with David Cameron would be my advice.
Interesting times. In terms of the beer policy, I mean, it does seem to me quite shrewd of Reform UK to say we'll bring down a price of a pint. The one kind of drawback in this policy is, of course, people love to go for a pint after a day's work. And by the time Reform UK potentially win an election in 2029, nobody will have a job.
Well, there'll be that, and there probably won't
so
be...
they'll just be able to drink to forget.
There won't be many pubs left either. That's also the issue, because they are shutting down. They genuinely are at a vast and very, very quick rate. So, I mean, unfortunately, most of the questioning was around Mandelson when the journalist kind of got a leg in and wanted to ask him, and he had many words to say about that. But he is saying that he's going to do it by basically reintroducing the two-child benefit cap. So that's an interesting thing. He said that he only wants British families to be able to access that, and no foreign nationals to have any access to that, to those child
general
benefits.
savings will enable a reform government to be much kinder to pubs and therefore bring the price of a pint down.
Essentially, yes, and we were looking for a potential Labour defection at this presser.
Yeah, when is that going to happen?
Yeah, well, someone in the production team just joked to me, was it going to be Mandelson just jumping?
It's Mandelson! Ta-da! That would make a few headlines.
Well, every time I go to one of those presses, it's just they unveil someone new from behind a sort of glittery curtain, and so it was a bit dour not to have someone jump ship and come on to Reform, but I guess guess that they just wanted to focus on pubs today, but it was pretty much very Westminstery.
I'm very fond of the Reform team. We remain studiously impartial and unbiased, of course, as a presenter on this fine channel. But I like the Reform team. But I'm not sure what I think about their policy of having a press conference virtually every day, whether they need one or not.
They were loving it.
Well, welcome to the press conference. Not sure what we're going to announce today. Maybe someone will defect. We've got any defectors out there?
Yeah, it was pretty much that.
A queue down the street of Labour and Tory MPs ready to defect.
You're not wrong, Kev. I think the political theatre should not be overestimated because, as Jeremy Clarkson wrote in his great column for The Sun at the weekend, it is a lot of smoke and mirrors at the moment. There is a lot of sort of just dancing and political prowess, which is just basically motivated by Twitter at the moment. How many policies do we actually have from Reform? So I think someone like Clarkson putting a bit of pressure on Farage is probably going to be a good thing. And this seems to be some sort of policy, hopefully the first of many from them. But they're going to need to back up what they're actually saying and how they're going to save the country with actual facts.
Let me put a sort of question out to the audience. I mean, I've got I asked what was the cheapest place you knew to get a pint. Anybody got the most expensive? Let me know the most expensive pint you ever bought. I could step outside of this office and go to the pub next door and probably beat yours. But seriously, it's very expensive around here. Let me know the most expensive pint you've ever had. But in terms of going to the pub quite regularly, like old people like me used to do, people used to go for a couple of pints every night, once they got home or after work. But of course they're doing that less and less for obvious reasons, because, 20 quid down after 2 pints, that's going to burn a hole in your wallet. What kind of price would you be looking for a pint in a pub that would entice you to regularly go to your local or the pub next to where you work? What kind of price would you be looking at? £5 or £6? I don't know. Let me know. 03444991000. Just before you go, Samara, you heard a lot from Reform UK about Peter Mandelson. He's resigned, or retired, he's called it, from the House of Lords today. So he has finally accepted that nobody wants to see his scrounging, snivelling, lying face ever again. But the heat is he seems to think he can just sort of step back and all's going to be well. Gordon Brown writing to Met Police Chief Sir Mark Rowley with information relevant to his investigation of Lord Mandelson's disclosure of market-sensitive and confidential government information. That's pretty bombshell. That's quite a serious development. Mandelson, he should start measuring up his prison pyjamas, if you ask me.
Well, actually, I shouldn't say that. I was going to say something ridiculous. No, look, he jumped
That's
before...
what you're here for.
He jumped before he was pushed, I think, in this situation with the peerage and all that. But I think you're right. As you were saying, actually, early yesterday, before a lot of information came out, he was giving sensitive information when he was business secretary to Epstein. That came out overnight. So you were right. There is more and more and more. But I say shame on Labour, because they've been sitting on this for decades. Why are they just coming out with it now? Gordon Brown, where were you months ago?
It's exactly what the audience is saying. You're in touch with them yet again, Samara. So, Mr. Brown, Sir Gordon, are you? Is he Sir Gordon yet? Probably. They all get those socialists. They love their aristocratic titles, don't they? Well, Gordon Brown, you've written today done your public duty with information relevant to the investigation of Lord Mandelson. Why now? Why didn't you say anything before? If you've got incriminating evidence on this guy, it means you've had it for the best part of 14, 15, maybe 20 years.
Well,
why now? Why now? Were you withholding evidence, Mr. Brown?
Remember that photo gate that we had a couple months ago where he was seen publicly urinating Peter Mandelson?
Yeah, he can't even get away with that outside George Osborne's house.
Exactly. So I'm saying the rot is so deep within the Labour Party, and he's not the most rotten of the bunch, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But they're all covering it up. They're all covering it up for him, or they were.
And if I don't want to hear one more Westminster twonk say he was the most clever man in power, brilliant political... He's a clown. He's useless. Clever people don't get caught. He gets caught every time. As Samara just said, he can't even take a pee in the street without being photographed. The man is a loser, a massive loser, and he's going to jail, I reckon.